everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Muskan Khanna. I am currently a PhD researcher at the University of Delhi, and this video is going to be incredibly special and informative for people who have just gotten selected in PhD or who are planning to appear for these PhD interviews, and those who are just curious to know about what a year in a life of a PhD researcher at the University of Delhi or basically central universities in India look like. We can be taking you back to the very first day I started my PhD journey, and we'll be looking at what all did I learn throughout this 1 year, what were the major takeaways that I can share, who all I got to meet during this period of time, how I got my papers published, what all did I do in my coursework, and what exactly is a PhD. I was extremely lucky to start the journey itself with an incredible opportunity which I got. And I think so many of us, जो political science या international relations enthusiasts है या in general people who are interested in defense, security, IR, foreign policy, all of them apply for the very famous Raisina Dialogue. And as soon as I got selected in my PhD program, I also got shortlisted for the Raisina Dialogue of 2024, which has been one of the most, incredible experiences of my life. So this was the first thing that I started my PhD journey from. And this 3 day event is a huge deal in the international relations circles. And I got to see so many, you know, diplomats, especially, our foreign affairs minister. Also, on the lack of results demonstrate. And so many journalists, defense experts, and ambassadors. This was the first thing that happened, and I feel all of us should get to experience this once. But there is like a very probability based selection, and it's not really based on merit, but like random selection. So you might also get lucky if you apply. I appeared for an international virtual conference, and this was my very first paper presentation as a PhD researcher, even though abhi mera coursework start nahi hua tha, but because ye mere domain specific conference thi, it was on Africa, it was around digitalization, so I took part in it, and this was the very first paper presentation that I did. Because of this conference, I got to know so many people from JNU, from South Africa, from different parts of Africa and India. And I got to network with them, and that's how I connected with so many of them through LinkedIn. In no time, हमारे खुद के डिपार्टमेंट ने एक बहुत ही ग्रैंड इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस कंडक्ट करवाई थी, एंड इट वाज लाइक अ 2 day इवेंट जिसके अंदर even though I was very nervous कि I have just started, should I present my paper at my own department or not, but I thought कि this is the best opportunity to learn कि आप international conferences में कैसे paper present करते हैं, and especially जगह there are not a lot many conferences centered on India Africa जो होती हैं. So because my department is specializing in that, so I should take a part in it. So इसलिए मैंने यहाँ पर भी present किया, and this was one of the very fun एंड कहते हैं ना फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपोजर जो मिला कि हाउ वी ऑर्गेनाइज कॉन्फ्रेंसेज एंड कैसे प्रेजेंट किया जाता है, कैसे कोर टीम्स हैंडल करती है सारे इवेंट्स को, एंड दिस वाज लाइक द बिगिनिंग ऑफ माय पार्टिसिपेशन इन माय डिपार्टमेंट. एंड द डिपार्टमेंट दैट आई एम अ पार्ट ऑफ इज वेरी फ्लेक्सिबल इन द वे दैट आप खुद से कोई भी अगर इनिशिएटिव लाना चाहते हैं अपने डिपार्टमेंट में, you want to form a club, or like probably you want to start say a magazine, or you want to say start a society or something, the professors are very supportive and they totally support your new ideas. So I was really enthusiastic about that, and some of my professors also told me that because I'm working on media and digitalization, why not take ahead some initiative which is around films, which is around social media. So that's how I started along with my friend film screenings, and these have been such fun events. And people attend from our entire department, be it MA ke students ho, PhD ke students ho, professors for that matter, they come, and it is overall a very fun experience where we even organize a refreshments for them, and then after watching the film we have such, amazing fun discussions. So this has been one of the key aspects that, I sort of initiated, and I'm one of the co-founders of this thing. We are planning to make it much more regular, so that is like on the list for now. The very first screening जो हमने conduct करवाई थी, it was supposedly like an in-house event वो होना था कि सिर्फ हमारे अपने department के students के लिए and professors के लिए हम ये movie दिखाएंगे. But because we promoted it on LinkedIn, we were delighted to, welcome one of the ambassadors from the Algerian embassy in New Delhi. And without even invitation, he came to the department. He, wished all of us, and he was so happy that we were showing this incredible film from their country. And that literally was not a part of our plan, but the first ever screening became so huge that it was a great thing that, okay, I have organized something, and literally, an ambassador from an African country came without even us inviting. So that was like a great experience. Now, if I talk about papers कैसे publish करते हैं and all of that, उसकी एक separate video में already डाल चुकी हूँ. But क्योंकि I was just starting my PhD journey, मुझे इतना idea नहीं था that how to get into, care या Scopus की सीधा journals में. So what my professors advised me that we have an in-house departmental initiatives called Scholars on Africa. So I actually started writing from that particular initiative, and मैंने ये particular, theme पर लिखा, and it sort of gave me a confidence कि ठीक है, I can write on Africa, and this even got published on our website. So this was one of the initiatives that I began with. Because हमारा एक international relations area studies का department है, we keep organizing a lot of events and so many ambassadors and diplomats from different African countries, and for that matter India के आते रहते हैं, and we conduct a lot of talks and seminars. So ऐसा ही जो पहला मैंने attend किया था, that was the India South Africa का particular session, and we welcomed High Commissioner of South Africa जो थे, and it was a very great experience because I got to ask him a very personal question, because I'm working on diplomacy, and क्योंकि मैं India and South Africa पे ही काम करने वाली हूँ and around public diplomacy, and because एक South African diplomat मेरे सामने थे and a retired Indian diplomat as well. So I asked them a lot of questions on my own topic, and मुझे कुछ personalized जो भी चीज़ें उनसे सुनने को मिली that actually helped me to sort of have a clear set of mind as to मैं किस पे काम करना चाहती हूँ. So had a very long, illustrious career as a diplomat. So from your own personal point of view, how do you think digitalization and the use of social media has transformed your own role of a diplomat? And if you think there are any positives or negatives? It was also like a great experience, and I was really scared to ask a question, but then I was like, if not now, then when? So I did ask it, and it was overall a great experience. A lot of people have this confusion कि क्या हम जब PhD start करते हैं, क्या सिर्फ अपने ही टॉपिक के अराउंड हमें काम करना चाहिए, सिर्फ उन्हीं कॉन्फ्रेंसेस में पार्ट लें जो हमारे टॉपिक को एड्रेस कर रहे हैं, या फिर we can actually delve deeper into any other domain. So because मैं film screenings कराना शुरू कर दिया था, I was reading and watching a few, African films. So there was this conference around films जो जादवपुर यूनिवर्सिटी करवा रही थी, and I presented my own paper around African cinema and how Indian cinema for that matter is perceived in Africa. And it was a really, good experience in the way that people actually brought out so many political theories and cinema को link किया हुआ था. So you can go away from your own topic for a while, and आप कुछ भी कोई नया टॉपिक भी ले सकते हैं, and you can venture into new fields also. And generally my professors advise us कि सिर्फ अपना ही टॉपिक नहीं, साथ साथ एक ऐसा पैरेलल टॉपिक जरूर लेके चलो which sort of help you to कि आप सिर्फ एक ही टॉपिक पे नहीं स्टिक कर रहे हो. Now very early on मेरी PhD जर्नी में ही I was told to conduct like a talk. So there's this initiative called GSTS which is being organized, and it basically invite a lot of UG, PG, PhD scholars to give talks on diverse topics, and I got an opportunity to present my own topic, and people were so thrilled by that topic because I had some IR professors also who were attending it, and they literally told that I've been teaching IR at Delhi University, but ये thought हमारे दिमाग में नहीं आया था. This is such a new topic. So मैंने literally अपना पूरा जो भी research topic है, I have talked about it in detail, and the video is already uploaded on YouTube. So you guys can go and check out what all themes you can get into if you are planning to apply for a PhD. In no time हमारी Africa Day is like a very prominent celebration जो हमारा department कराता है, and उस दिन भी हमारी एक 1 day long international conference हुई, and again I presented a paper, and this time मैंने cyber diplomacy के around अपना paper present किया था. This is the first experience where I was actually being questioned, where I had a discussion with the chair. इससे पहले generally conferences में you just get a 2-3 liner feedback, but this was the time where we actually got to talk in detail about our papers. So this was a very different experience overall. Talking about my coursework classes, so I had like 4 papers अपने coursework में, and we had a lot of classes for those papers. Generally, जो papers थे, one paper was around the history of Africa, the other one was around the socio-economic conditions of Africa. Then we had the political global aspects of Africa. And then one paper was around the research methodology, basically, जो होता है हमारा primarily. So coursework में we were not given any choice to choose particular subjects because ये एक बहुत ही holistic take था कि आपको ये हर aspect Africa के बारे में पता होना चाहिए. So we had a lot of classes and very vibrant classes, and we got to discuss so much. We got to present book reviews and a lot of presentations, a lot of discussions and in-house events around those classes. So the coursework has been extremely vibrant, and I did not really expect it to be like that. It was not at all boring or stressful in that sense, because we were given the freedom कि we can actually pick and choose the topics जो हमें present करने हैं. So even if I talk about my research methodology course, we had the entire lecture series by ma'am, and then the final assignment was to pick up any topic around research methodology and give our best foot forward. So I presented everything on literature review, and ma'am was so impressed, and उन्होंने कहा it literally seemed like a lecture जो कि unmissable था, and you had to it had everything about it. So overall, it was a great experience. Talking about patterns of change and basically the history aspect of Africa, we had this amazing professor who, we were given so many books to read on, so many readings to read on, and it literally unwired our entire thinking on Africa. We got to know so much about Afrocentrism, and in general, we were given so many books. So Black feminism book पर मैंने entire review present किया था. And not just this was just about the classes. Being PhD researcher, I was also given an opportunity to teach MA students. So I took an MA class, and I talked about not exactly on my topic, but a very similar aspect, because they were studying about diaspora in their IR paper. So I took their class on digital diaspora, and it was an amazing experience to actually, teach and get to know how this entire process goes about. So I'm very thankful to the department that not just, taking the lectures, we were given the opportunity to actually speak, to take classes, to act like a teacher, to get the feel of being a professor. Through my own initiative, I applied for this particular feminist foreign policy fellowship by IMPRI, and I got selected, and it has been one of a kind experience. We had so many lectures, and the fellowship is basically just for 40 people, and we were supposed to write, eventually हमें एक draft ऐसे लिखना था which will be published in a book. So I'm still working on that, and this was one thing जो मैंने खुद apply किया था, because मैंने अपने coursework paper में ही black feminist thought पर book present की थी. So that intrigued me, and I was like, okay, let's delve deeper into it, and क्यों ना foreign policy and feminism का जो ये course हो रहा है इसमें part ले. So I did this on my own, and LinkedIn पे ऐसे बहुत सारे initiatives आते रहते हैं, and I will definitely suggest कि आप ज़रूर वहाँ पर account बनाएं, network करें. You get all the academic updates there. I have published a few papers, and one such paper has been selected by a Scopus listed by Springer Nature book/journal, and it will be published in some time. So this is also one thing that I did. Very recently, I have been selected for a public diplomacy course, and it has been freely funded by the government of Malta. And I think I always wanted to study more about my own topic, because एक बहुत ही it is a niche subject, and not a lot of developments have been made, especially जब हम India Africa की बात करते हैं. There's a lot of work when we talk about West, or for that matter China or Israel, but not a lot on Africa. So I thankfully got this scholarship also, and my course will start very soon, and I think This as well I got to know from LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has its own perks. This time, because we were almost, free with our coursework classes, the year-end international conference जो हमारे department ने कराई, it was again a very big event. And this time I was part of the core team and I was moderating sessions as well. And I was also part of the planning process. So this was the time when I actually stepped into the entire domain of how to organize the events, and it was a very successful event. But again, I presented my paper, and this time I presented it with my sister. So when I started presenting my paper, I got a huge round of applause from the chair as well as the other participants, that for the very first time we're experiencing that two sisters are presenting their paper together. So this is again, I think, a milestone moment that I got to experience very early on in my academic journey. By the end of 2024 and by the end of my coursework, I believe that I have been equipped with a lot of new skills as to, how to present papers, how to quickly review books and prepare presentations around it, how to actually teach. I took MA classes, and that has been a huge learning. How to organize events, and how do we actually network with people. अगर आप IR में हो, then you have to probably network with people from different countries, people as in scholars from different countries. And वो आप तब कर पाते हो जब आप different sessions से Zoom पे या अपने ही डिपार्टमेंट के इवेंट्स पे लोगों के साथ नेटवर्क करो. हाउ टू एक्चुअली क्वेश्चन द गेस्ट, बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ us are hesitant कि नहीं यार मैं नहीं पूछूंगा, कोई और पूछ ले. सो आई एक्चुअली गॉट टू नो दैट ओके मैं ये सब कर सकती हूँ. एंड वन ऑफ द मोस्ट आइकॉनिक, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट incredible things जो हुई वो था starting my own YouTube channel. And I am sharing my entire academic journey with all of you, be it how I cleared my UGC NET JRF exam, how I got selected in PhD at Delhi University. सो आई फील दैट बहुत ही पर्सनलाइज्ड जर्नी रही है ये पूरे साल. एंड आई होप दिस विल बी हेल्पफुल फॉर अ लॉट मेनी पीपल जो एस्पायर कर रहे हैं कि हम भी एकेडमिक्स में घुसे, एक सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी से PhD करें, इफ नॉट सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी, IR में फोकस करना चाह रहे हैं या एक ह्यूमैनिटी सब्जेक्ट में करना चाह रहे हैं. So I believe all of this was possible also because I was a JRF cleared candidate and I was getting the financial support जो ज़रूरी होता है एक PhD जर्नी में, because otherwise most of us need to work simultaneously, या फिर it's not that easy to pursue a PhD without doing any other thing. But अच्छी रिसर्च तभी हो पाती है जब you are getting that financial support. So this has been my 1 year journey, and I hope this entire experience gives some information to you, some motivation to you, that this is how you can also, take your academic life ahead. And I hope this was a helpful video. And if you guys have any doubts or like questions, you can post it in the comment section and I'll make like an entire video answering those questions. So take care till then. Happy New Year also.